open the Run 2016 South African Drug Policy Week, I'd like to introduce the Chief Executive Officer of TB HIV Care Association, Professor Harry Hausler. Harry, thank you.
Thanks so much, Shaun, and welcome everybody. I'm very excited that this event is happening and that all of you are participating in it. I think it's coming at the right time. And I've just prepared a few words of introduction. So firstly, I'd like to acknowledge those people who are members of Parliament, members of the Central Drug Authority, and representatives of the African Union Commission from UNAIDS, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and all of our international guests and delegates, welcome. So on behalf of TB HIV Care Association, I'd like to welcome you to the Run 2016 SA Drug Policy Week. Since 1929, our organization, TB HIV Care Association, has been advocating for social justice and the promotion of health as a human right. The vision of the organization is to be a leader in empowering communities to be healthy and free of TB and HIV, and defending the rights of marginalized populations.
The timing of this event is very opportune. We have the UN General Assembly Special Session, UNGAS, on the world drug problem to be held in New York in April. Additionally, there are two other major events happening this year, happening around the same time. There's also going to be an UNGAS on AIDS, which we're calling the high-level meeting, which will be also in New York in June. And then we also have the Durban AIDS Conference, so the World Conference coming here. We know that there will be very strong South African participation in these meetings. So the fact we have the UNGAS, the World Drug Problem UNGAS, before the HIV one is actually superb, and it means that a strong result from the UNGAS can actually go forward.
This conference was a brilliant opportunity to meet other like-minded people that are involved in the substance abuse sector. It has opened the wounds of discussion that really helps people to start being more critical and objective about their points of view and realize how it really affects our beneficiaries and those at grassroots. So I think the speakers, the plenaries, the workshops has been phenomenal. It just gave us a depth of understanding of what it is we're dealing with.
So my name's Jamie Bridge. I'm the Senior Policy Manager at the International Drug Policy Consortium, or IDPC. We're based in London in the United Kingdom. So IDPC, we're a global network of NGOs from around the world who are trying to promote a debate about drug policy. And from what I've seen here so far, it's fantastic because there's a real willingness to talk about these issues. We've heard for so many years that you can't talk about drug policy in Africa. People don't want to talk about it, or people don't know how to talk about drug policy. But here we see one of the first events in South Africa dedicated to this issue, where people are having a genuine conversation and they're learning about the options, they're learning about the reality of drug policy, and they're developing their own thinking and developing their own understanding of these issues and what the real solutions are.
We're heading into the UN General Assembly meeting in April, and we are hoping that the outcomes of this meeting, as well as processes between now and April, feed into a greater process that will allow for us to begin to start eradicating the war on drugs.
This is why I'm here in South Africa for the conference, and I think it's a really very good opportunity that we've been given as Southern African civil society organization representatives to be able to be here and discuss about drug policy. There are some important meetings that are being held at the United Nations this year, namely the UNGAS, and it's important important to have everybody to know what's going on, the process, to have their voice, and also to discuss about where are we going, what we want to ask for, how we do this, etc. So I think it's a really good opportunity, and I think I would really like to thank the TB HIV and AIDS Care for having organized that.
I think it's pretty well organised, and I think there's an impressive array of speakers who are providing interesting input on the issues related to a policy that we need to craft with respect to the UN meeting later this year. What I do notice is that there's a broad spectrum of opinion, ranging from the extreme left to the ultra-right, okay, and I am curious to see whether, with respect to how we're going to manage drug use problems, is the spectrum of opinion. I'm very curious to see whether we're going to be able to craft a unitary policy where we're all in agreement as to what should be South Africa's or Southern Africa's stand with respect to our input at UNGAS in April this year.
I've been really energized and excited about this conference. I think it's a unique dialogue to be having in South Africa and Southern Africa around some of the harms of the war on drugs and current drug policy, but also it's really been enlightening and optimistic for me to see some creative thinking and some energy around reforming the system. So I think, a lot of times one might come in and just hear a lot of griping or negative impact, but this conference has really been, in my mind, about finding some solutions about how to work forward and towards more humane drug policies that respect human rights and health rights and really promote betterment of society.
The conference as a run-up to UNGAS is highly informative in terms of trends being implemented not only internationally but in our other African countries as well. And it is inspiring to see that there is a grassroots movement towards harm reduction as well as the realistic implementation of harm reduction initiatives in the field of substance use disorder treatment. As South Africa and as a nation going forward, we cannot deny the benefits of harm reduction initiatives, and hopefully this will feed in positively to the upcoming 2018 National Drug Master Plan.
It's been great to get a diverse range of stakeholders talking about really important issues. It has been an opportunity for people to network, to hear what's happening in other contexts, locally and internationally. And hopefully it's going to be an opportunity to bring together some concrete steps of what can be done to really improve the way that we work around drug policy, because bad policy does a lot more harm than drugs themselves.
I was privileged to be at this meeting, which for me really is a great way moving forward in terms of looking at drug control policies in Africa. I must say it's one of the first that I've seen, and moving forward to UNGAS, this meeting would not have come at a better time.
I thought the conference has been excellent. I thought there's been some great debates and contributions. I think we've juggled with organisational issues at an international level as well as issues at a national and local level. But I think for me the thing that's been most powerful has been that at the grassroots level, people with drug problems are human beings struggling with huge issues of disadvantage, of pain and suffering and marginalisation. And sadly, I don't think services here or in many other countries are treating them properly. And the bigger issue for these people is really the drug services and society where they have little stake, rather than the actual pain caused by drugs themselves. And I think that was a message that came out again and again, really, in different contexts.
For me, it has been a particularly encouraging opportunity to hear the different views of different people. The fact that this has brought people together, where we're openly expressing our feelings and putting forward the opinions that we represent from the different diverse backgrounds, and giving us an opportunity to hear the other side as well, has been extremely encouraging for me. So the outcome of this, of course, is what we're going to be hoping to now be able to take forward, but which is going to benefit everybody at the end of the day, is important.
For me, this conference was particularly useful because it allowed me to embed the processes that we are engaged in Durban in a much broader national and international context, both in terms of practice and also in terms of policy, and also in terms of reflecting on what's worked historically and where the deficits are currently in relation to national policy, but also in terms of international and transnational agencies such as the United Nations. And so within that context, it's allowing me personally as an activist stroke researcher stroke academic in a smaller city called Durban to think more critically about what we about to engage in, and also to network with people that are already involved in this really important field of drug use advocacy and human rights activism.
So this is the end of the Run 2016 South African Drug Policy Week. It's the first one of its kind. I think that it's been very successful. The objective was to start the conversation around drugs and drug policy, and I think that's certainly been achieved. I think that that we've had a lot of the right people in the room, and some of the people who weren't in the room are going to be saying that they wish they had been here. I was particularly impressed with the level of the speakers. They made very valuable contributions. There was extensive dialogue taking place, extensive debate taking place. And I think that the conversations were very useful. I know from the comments that I've got from many people that positions have been shifted. I know as well that many of the people who listened to the speakers were exposed to thoughts and ideas that they'd never really thought of before. It wasn't that they were opposed to them in any way, it's just that they hadn't framed drug use in that particular reference. I think that people were also shocked to hear the effects of drug policy on drug users who are essentially brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, mothers and fathers, and people who are part of our community. So I'm very happy with the outcome of the Run 2016 SA Drug Policy Week, and I'm looking forward to the next one, and we will be having another one ahead of the development of the 2018 National Drug Master Plan, and hopefully we'll be able to influence the content of that Drug Master Plan.